All right, enough of that.
Yeah.
McNuggets. You've got some tickets.
We got two winning
And
tickets
one of
today.
them we need to pay particular attention to.
Yeah, they're actually both. Well, one's a small win, but it was a tiny bet. The other one was a small bet with a giant win. And as always, if we're featuring a ticket, it's coming from FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. You can bet on everything, from slap shots to home runs and slam dunks, all on the app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Our first winning ticket comes from Robert Cunningham. I told you we had a bunch in the queue. We're getting to those now. Robert bet $1 last week, won $30, so a 30-1 win.
Meal.
He had Bryce Sensabaugh and Tyler Hendricks over 3 makes each, both to score over 15 points. All 4 of those hit. He bet $1, won $30, and as he said, it ain't much, but it's good to pay for a solo meal. So shout out to Robert Cunningham for that.
It's a supersize at McDonald's these days.
Shout out to Rob, man. He could get a new guitar pick. Rob's a big guitarist.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, he's in a band.
Okay,
He does shows.
And
Very
here's the
nice.
big winner of the day. This one comes from Jarrett Kelly, who turned $4 into $915.55
Let me
of the
see.
same game parlay in the
What happened?
Orioles-Royals game from the other day. He had the Orioles money line, Garcia to record a hit, Mountcastle to record a hit, Michael Wacha over 4.5 strikeouts, Dean Kramer over 4.5 strikeouts, Jordan Westburg to hit a home run, and Ryan Mountcastle to hit a home run.
That's
It
it.
all
That's
Those are the long
happened.
shots.
Yeah.
Those are the long shots.
$4 turns to $915. So shout out to Jarrett Kelly at Taraj World
just
for
picked
that
that.
hell of
Yeah.
a winning ticket.
When you're betting on dudes, not one guy, but
Yeah.
2 guys to hit home
home.
runs, I'm surprised the payout isn't bigger.
Yeah, and it's not like it's Otani and Judge either.
No,
I mean,
these are guys that are random
players, but-
good players, but you wouldn't pick them on any day to hit a home run.
If you take them 2 dudes out, that parlay was getting $6.50.
yeah.
Yeah, the home
That was
runs
big.
definitely put that one over the top. That's an interesting way of making bets,
Yep.
the home run thing.
I
Very interesting.
haven't seen baseball it's tricky.
By the way, I'm
it's extremely
putting parlays out every Tuesday and Friday for the fans. I put a video out, and I've hit 2 out of 3 so far. I'll put another one out today. I'll put a video out.
Well,
Now,
I need
where
a
can
20.
they get this?
I'm
On Twitter? Do you do that on Twitter?
gonna put it out on Twitter.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. All right, good. Very nice.
Awesome. Let's dive into our first topic today. Jay, Andrew Berry addressed the media yesterday for his pre-draft press conference, and he touched on a number of different things. We're going to tackle 2 of those topics today. One of them was about DeShaun Watson's future as a member of the Cleveland Browns. We cut the soundbite. Here is Jeff asking Andrew Berry about DeShaun Watson's future as QB1 of the Cleveland Browns. Steve?
When we spoke to you at the wrap-up, you were asked to assess the DeShaun Watson trade, and you said at that time you view it as a 10-year horizon. I mean, those were your words. So are you talking about another contract with DeShaun when you say 10-year horizon?
I'm talking about as I think the one thing that's pretty unique about the quarterback position in our sport is, when you find a good one, they're typically with your franchise for a long period of time. So when I say 10 years, maybe I didn't mean it quite as literally as you're taking it, but for a very long period of time because, that player at that position, can really anchor your franchise and anchor your organization on the field. So as we think about it, it's less about, a yearly fluctuation, but very much with a long-term focus. Because look, quarterbacks, they're not all Tom Brady playing until they're 45, but quarterbacks in this league, they play to their mid and late 30s, and that's an incredibly valuable player to have.
So you are beyond this one contract when you think of that.
Yes, sure, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
All right,
that was awkward to watch. Yeah, because Jeff's clearly trying to paint him into a corner. You know when I first saw that, it reminded me of the Homer Simpson meme where he comes out of the bushes real proud, and then all of a sudden he sees what's going on, and he's like,
Yeah.
and
He's
he
like,
shrinks back in.
yes.
What else is he going to say?
Yeah,
he handled it as well as he could.
right. I mean, obviously they're not thinking about a new contract for DeShaun Watson right now. They got to see him play well before that's even, I mean, at this point, it's more likely they're going to move on before the 5 years than sign him to a new contract. Hopefully this year will change that perspective, but obviously there's no thoughts of if there was anything they were going to do there with the contract, it would just be to move the money around, not to add it. Not to add to it at this point.
Gee, what do you make?
No, listen, I actually slightly disagree. Oh. I think that they are already, when you're in management, they got, like you said, they got 2-3 year plans, like 4-year plans. We do this show, they got 2-3 year plans, right? But in the minutia of it, we only thinking about the very next show. For GMs and like Andrew Berry and the organization, they have to think 2 steps ahead. They got to say, okay, well, we moving all this money around, and we figured that we need this money to make the roster better. They have to be able to forecast whether or not DeShaun Watson is going to, what does that really look like? I think that they're hoping he comes out, he has a good year, and they're already thinking, okay, well, now we're on track, we're moving forward. Now we can potentially think about what the next contract looks like. I mean, because quiet is kept. What are you in year 3? This is year 3, right?
Year
Approaching
3,
year
correct.
3.
Year 3, and how many years is the contract? 5? So you're going into it next year. So after next year, that means that's year 4. Generally speaking, you're thinking about, okay, well, are we signing this guy? What are we doing? What's next? Because you only have 1 year.
I just don't know why they'd be thinking about it right now when he hasn't performed.
Yeah, it's not on their plate. I agree with G. It's interesting that you said that because part of my approach to this answer was going to be similar to what you said. When you are leading an organization like this, you have to be, that's why I say it's so difficult. You're juggling 8 things at once.
Sure.
You absolutely have all eyes on the prize of next year. But you're also looking off in your peripheral vision on 25, 26, and 27. You have to. You have to be fiscally responsible in the long run. I don't know that I fully agree with everything you said, but I'm way more in your camp than yours, G, and here's why. The part I'm not sure I fully agree on yet, but if pushed, maybe I'd have to make this choice. You said you think it's more likely that they will not complete the contract than it is that he'll get an extension. I think for me that's a bridge too far because I don't see an escape clause for them. I don't see how they don't pay him.
Well, they'll have to pay him, but
right.
I'm saying.
So what you're saying is they may move on from him and pay him out, but he may not be the quarterback 3 years from now.
If he's not good this year, I don't think he makes it to the end of this contract on the team.
Okay, so I'm way more in line with that thinking. And by the way, G, I also think that it's hay in the barn. There's only 2 years that we can look at. That's all we can judge him on. Mm-hmm. His body of work for the first 2 years, and I'm being generous when I say this, it's been a mixed bag. But to be more accurate, in my view, it's been more bad than good. And I think that's fair. Now, when he was good, he was great against the Ravens. And that's the DeShaun Watson that has Browns fans salivating.
Sure.
That also has a section of Andrew Berry's brain occupied with, well, God, if we get that, hell yeah, I'll give him another deal.
Yeah.
So he's got to be, and even next year, I don't think that's going to decide everything. No. That's only 3 of 5. What's he going to look like in year 4? Because I think that's the time that you start talking about an extension. So if he has a great year next year, and he's halfway through his 4th year, and the Browns are 6-2, and he is killing it.
100%.
Now you're calling his agent saying, okay, we're ready to talk about a new contract.
Well, here's the thing. If they can extend him, say he has a great year next year. You go into year 4, and they say, okay, well, what are we looking like financially? Can we extend him and save some money? Can we roll over some stuff? And when you say extension, I'm not talking 5 years. They may be in a position to do, hey, we're going to extend you 3 years, right? Something like that, or a team option or somewhere along the lines. I just think that when you're the general manager and they got so many irons in the fire, they have to imagine and think of all options. They have to have a contingency plan if he's not good. They have to have a contingency plan if he gets hurt.
Right.
They also have to have a contingency plan and what does it look like if he comes out and plays very well, because if you're DeShaun Watson and your team, you know that you've had injuries, you've been off the field.
Sure.
They are going to be pushing for more security, especially as a quarterback. And if he comes back and proves it again, they don't want to negotiate and play a fifth year without a deal.
No, I don't think they'll ever let it get to that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Jay. I think if he plays great for the next year and a half, that's when it starts.
Yeah.
And then at the very latest, by the end of if years 3 and 4 are fantastic, or
You're
even
locking them up
just
for
very
2 more,
good,
at least 2
at the
more.
end of by the end of year 4, the latest, you lock them up, and I think they will.
Well, what is he? 20? How old is he right now?
20
28,
8
29?
or 9. Mike, you want to double check that?
Sorry, say it one more
28.
time. I was texting Chris Broussard.
Is he 28? Deshaun?
Deshaun Watson.
DeShaun Watson, I'll give you 1 second. I'm pretty sure it's 28.
And the only reason I bring that up
Yeah.
is because we've seen in the past, as quarterbacks turn the page and get into their 30s, they're not getting 5-year deals anymore. They're getting 2 or 3 year deals.
Yeah, sure.
He is 28 right now. He will be 29 for week 2 of this season.
So it's really his
Okay,
age,
so
turns
basically
29
he'll be all
season.
29 this year. He'll be all of 30 in the 4th year of his deal.
Right.
So it wouldn't be crazy if he's had 2 really good years for the
Right.
Browns to say, we're going to tack on 2 more guaranteed and what would be a 4th year on adding forward from his last year of his deal.
Right.
As a team option, player option kind of thing
Right.
where we'll
And
play it by ear.
I believe that we have to take in consideration when we look at it is what the Browns have done philosophically with their money. They seem to always pay a guy a year early. They paid David Njoku a boatload of money when they hadn't seen anything, right? They paid Jack Conklin. They were like, okay.
Well, they've already done
but
that.
there's-
With
They've
Deshaun
already
Watson.
done that.
But there's
Jerry
a big
Jeudy-
difference between offensive lineman, tight end money, and quarterback money.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
I
true.
mean,
Jerry Jeudy, he got the contract,
Yeah.
and they didn't really see it. So they try to get in front of these things and project a lot and what they want to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're projecting for Amari Cooper right now. They're trying to figure out what Jed Will's situation looks like, and especially because they put a lot of money and they do a lot of mental gymnastics with this cap. So I think they got a contingency plan for a lot of things. And of course he has to play well. But I think that they already have some blueprints about what
I
they
give
want
Andrew
to play.
Berry points because and credit because that's a hot potato.
Oh, big
you know,
time.
you're definitely not going to start talking about a player. He's got 3 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
The last thing you're going to do is show your hand to the other side and say, "Oh, we're already thinking about re-signing him." He's done nothing to make them think about re-signing him.
Right.
Nothing.
Not
So
at
he's
this
got really a full year and perhaps a year and a half or 2
Yeah.
to turn the tide and to play like Houston Deshaun, and then he can probably get an extension here.
I'm going to ask y'all this question. Does the Haslam said the extension is coming. How does that calculus work now that Andrew Berry knows I got a deal on the table, I'm probably going to get it? So how does that work? Do you feel like there's not as much pressure with the Deshaun Watson? Because before we said if it flames out with Deshaun, that's on him. Does that now change that perspective and how he handles it?
Yeah, definitely. I think assuming these extensions get done, and we had Zach Jackson on the other day, and he said it's just a matter of time.
Right.
It's basically a done deal. Once those are official, and I would assume they get long extensions, 5 years.
I would think both would get,
Right.
and they would probably be concurrent,
I mean,
right?
Yes, I would think that absolutely puts both Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski in a place that we have not seen the Browns coach in forever.
No.
Where they have fantastic job security.
Well, when
And
was
yeah,
the last
there's
time a
the
Browns coach got a second contract?
crazy Hugh Jackson?
Hugh Jackson.
Wow.
And he got that after
Yeah.
going 0-16.
Which was
that
insane.
was crazy.
But one thing here I agree with you on this. I think yes, and you mentioned it, Jay. You got to always be thinking years down the road. I think there's got to be a small part of Andrew Berry's brain, yes, thinking about, hey, if Deshaun Watson puts it all together this year, what are we thinking in terms of going forward? On the other hand, he's also thinking quietly that he's not talking about too much to too many people.
Right.
We better start looking at quarterbacks in the 2025 draft.
Sure.
100% got to be doing that.
And he could do that because, again, you have the job security. So
Yes.
even if the big blunder, if Deshaun Watson does not work out, he's able to say, well, look, let me go in the draft and find somebody. I now have the leeway where I could build that roster.
Bull, do you not think DTR is that guy?
I don't look at him as the starter of the future. I mean,
don't?
I think it's possible,
Sure.
but I think it's a long shot.
Right.
Let's face it. In general, most of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL are drafted in the first round or early in the second round. There's not a lot of starters late in the draft. It happens, but it's a long shot for those guys.
This sucks to say, but I think the ship sailed when Deshaun Watson was supposed to play against the Ravens, right? And he wasn't able to play. And DTR was like, I'm not ready.
See, I don't hold that against him.
I don't hold it against him. I'm not saying
it's
that that's
still
a
there.
fair.
It's still there.
But that film work is there. Like
Yeah,
it's like, all right, well, look, what you want from that position, you're looking to see that it quality. Can you come in and give me that one time?
Yeah.
I just think that, and again, none of us wanted to come to this. We all want DeShaun to bounce back this year and be the guy we thought he was going to be when they traded for him. If that happens, then it's smooth sailing going forward. But just like they have to think about a potential contract down the line, they also got to think about, hey, if this doesn't work, we've got to find a quarterback next year. We've got to go into the draft. Even if we think DTR has a chance to be a good quarterback, we have to have other options.